Hey to all my beauties, welcome back, and for the first time stunners popping by my channel, well, just welcome. Today I want to talk to you guys about practical ways to love yourself. And to anyone rolling their eyes, believe me, I get it. I was there. I didn't actually realize, I can't even think why we put so much importance into self-love and just, self-care routines and all of this kind of stuff. I couldn't understand it. And I don't think I fully understood how little I actually loved myself. I just honestly thought this was like a hippie concept that meant meditating in a room with sounds of the ocean, or putting post-it notes all over your mirror saying you're worthy, or you are enough. And while that actually might work for some, when I hear that, I think, no, not today, Satan. So now that I stand before you, 29 single, and I feel better to portray my true self than I ever have, I want to share with you how I learned to love myself. And honestly, it is practical, it is real, and best part, it's only 2 steps. So this is truly how I learned to love her. Now, first things first, guys, I want you to really identify what you don't like about yourself and really try to narrow that down. I know as women, it can be really, really easy to go to that kind of superficial area where we just say, oh, we don't like our weight. But if we narrow that down, maybe what we don't like about ourselves is our lack of self-control. And, food is kind of that vice that leaves that impression on our body. Maybe what we don't like about ourselves is that we're really hurt. Either way, narrow it down, get to the core of what you don't like about yourself. And I know that it really does seem like a backward step to, love ourselves by pointing out all the things that we dislike about ourselves to ourselves. But I truly believe that this is an important step for growth. I truly believe without this step, we're just masking deeper issues. And if we can't identify the key areas that are dragging us down, then I just don't really know if we will be able to grow from them. For me, there were many things, probably more than I'm willing to admit. But the important thing is I did admit them. I admitted them to myself. And I guess, for example, I can have a really, really sharp tongue. I, from a young age have been pretty quick-witted, and I can go a few rounds in an argument. But what I tend to do is I tend to hurt people with my words before they could hurt me. And even if they weren't going to hurt me at all, it's just literally too late. The venom I was spitting out was so potent at times that when all was said and done, I realized that the taste was just only left in my mouth. And I absolutely hated that about myself. But once I admitted that to myself, I realized that the next step was so critical if I ever wanted to grow. So once you've identified what you don't like about yourself, move on to step 2. We need to self-educate. Now, the best part about this is there's no topic or skill that I want you to master. Actually, it's not necessarily even about educating ourselves in what we think our flaws are, because I don't want you to self-diagnose. I know for me, I was just starving myself for any new information coming in, right? So I didn't learn to love myself through self-help books, self-care blogs, or even from talking to my friends. For me, once I got back into audiobooks and listening to women that I highly respect, once I heard their stories and heard all the challenges and, everything that they had faced throughout their life, I realized that even the strongest women have self-doubt issues. You see them making mistakes. You hear about, judgment errors, and you realize that it didn't define them. They're successful today and it didn't define them long term. This helped me release some of that guilt that I had and showed me that who I was wouldn't necessarily define who I could be if I wanted to be more. I started watching documentaries. I started writing more, creating more content for my channel. I started feeding myself daily with, just new views and implementing that into my everyday life. The minute I had learned something new and felt it useful in my everyday life, it was like a drug. I instantly felt, stronger, smarter, self-accomplished, a stronger sense of self-worth. I'm not kidding when I say it was instant. And the trick is, once I felt that high, I didn't let it plummet. I started writing more, reading more, creating more content. I started sharing everything that, I had learned with people that I thought it would be interest to. I was just pouring all of this additional substance into conversations because I had actually poured it into myself to start off with. But I noticed this exact same thing with my friends through other forms of education, friends that would join online fitness classes and now learn all of these extra things about nutrition and, their body and so forth. I noticed this with friends that, did online courses or, paid and free online courses that had something to do with a particular area they wanted to start a business in. There is just so much that we can learn from the internet. It is completely endless on the ways that we can actually self-educate. But the important thing is to just continue learning. And, through that, you have so many different shades of self-discovery and so many times where you're proud, you did it. You learned to crochet that scarf. You learned that new song on piano. You have a new outlook to global warming. You did it. And those feelings are vital in changing the way that we look at ourselves. I believe by teaching ourselves new habits, new skills, new ideas, we can start replacing some of those old ones that we didn't like about ourselves. And not just putting a magnifying glass on the things that we didn't like about ourselves. I get it, we want to identify it, but we don't just want to sit in it. So while self-love isn't like turning on a light switch, and it's definitely not like love at first sight, by getting to the bottom of why you're not happy, but then adding, self-accomplishment through self-education in any form, I believe truly this is why I'm so happy today. I am so happy with her and everything that she is, and I think she's a proper babe, honestly, and bless her for that. But the best part about what I absolutely love about myself is that I'm so happy to be a work in progress. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And now that we have it the foundation for our self-love journey, I actually want to show you how I go about this daily. So next video, next week, will actually be about my self-love daily routine. Everything I talk to you guys about is practical and has pretty much come from a cynic. So like and subscribe and make sure you hit that alert bell because I want you to know when I post my next video. And look guys, I absolutely love you. I cannot wait for us all to feel that within ourselves. And until then, bye.